Hello and welcome to the Next 100 Days podcast. My name is Graham Arrowsmith.
And my name's Kevin Appleby. Oh, Graham, you always like a good deal, don't you?
Yeah, I'm a Yorkshireman and I had a Scottish mother. And so that makes me extraordinarily bothered about spending money. And I try not to. I think that's the important thing. And spending unnecessary money is something that, I think we're all going to have to go through that period in the next few years. So the scene set for this business and led by a co-founder, Tom Church. Tom, welcome to the Next 100 Days podcast.
Thank you very much. And can I just say, first of all, congratulations on your 300th episode.
Oh, you're very welcome. We're not that far off 350 now. So basically, by the time we've got you locked in and a few others. But you've probably got the same broadband as Kevin because it's obviously slow. You've got 3 or 4 months ago that kind of information. Anyway, going back,
I was seeing it on YouTube. Maybe there's a delay on YouTube.
You are right.
There
Okay,
is a delay on YouTube.
Yes,
there's a story there. 3 or 4 episodes ago, we interviewed a very interesting guest who was talking all about YouTube, and we realised that our podcast wasn't actually on YouTube. Because we got video recordings of lots of episodes, we decided to start putting things up. And we thought, well, 300 seems like a good milestone to start at.
Yeah.
I think we're putting a podcast on YouTube every couple of days.
That's what I did. I went onto YouTube early this morning and there was 300th episode, but now I feel very embarrassed.
No, don't worry about it. You do this.
Blame me. You're 50 episodes behind on YouTube.
No, don't worry about that. Yeah, well, that's true. It'll catch up. I gotta say, it's to put a single episode on. It's a bit of a kind of exercise. So I kind of did enough to get me to the end of September, I think, and then I'll just have to have another day doing that. But anyway, we will eventually catch up. But anyway, obviously the podcast is released on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that kind of stuff. But Tom, your background, I mean, first of all, you're a very, very well-known man. I mean, you've been on Lorraine on ITV. Now, anybody listening in America, Lorraine's a sort of a Scottish woman who's got a gig on ITV, but she's really very, very, well-loved. A bit like, I don't know, the popular American sort of artists. Mm-hmm. But you've been on the BBC, which, shame on you, the Sun, Mirror, Express, and a whole bunch more. But your community, as you call it, latestdeals.co.uk.
Yep.
Can you explain what that is and what it does for people?
Absolutely. Probably helps to give some backstory.
Yeah.
So Latest Deals started, I think, about the same time as your podcast, back in 2016. So about 6 years ago, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
And my co-founder and I, Deepak, there's another co-founder who I'll mention later. We were in a Brazilian steakhouse, a rodizio restaurant. And what we always do at the end of the restaurant, and we looked for a voucher code or a coupon to try and save some money at the restaurant. And that was at the time when there were quite a few apps and websites that let you find these. However, the problem was always the same. The codes didn't work. And you would have this embarrassing moment with the waitress. You would say, "Can I use this coupon, please?" She would say, "Oh, it's not working."
Yeah.
And then you're sort of blushing red. You're trying to get the discount. And from that moment, we thought, God, there's got to be a better way. We love deals and discounts, obsessed. It's our passion. Yeah. Why not just do our own site where the deals and discounts really work? Why is this so bad? And that's how it came about. So it actually started off as an email newsletter. Mm-hmm. Then it became a blog. And at that time, it was called Tom's Deals. And it eventually grew into what it is now, which is a fully fledged forum community website. Mm-hmm. Kevin, a bit like perhaps what you're trying to build with Grow CFO. Mm-hmm. Yep. Where members can find deals and post them on the website, and everyone contributes to helping each other save money.
Wow. And you've got 1 million plus members, haven't you?
Yeah, it's now grown. I think it's 2.5 million now.
Wow.
Who are registered.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have any kind of methodology of profiling these people? What kind of people are they?
So I'm immediately thinking with your direct mail hat on there.
No, it's just the data side of me that's coming to the fore. But I mean, it'll be interesting to know whether or not, demographically they are, kids effectively, anywhere from sort of, I don't know, 18 through to 30, or a bit older.
Yeah, we don't do any detailed profiling like that, but basic software such as Google Analytics or even Facebook show you their guess of the demographics, and it's actually very broad. So it does go from 21 up to 65 plus.
Right.
And our audience is mostly female, and that's been targeted since day one. And I can talk about why that is later on. But yeah, mostly female, but quite a broad range of people.
Well, don't keep us in suspense. Why have you targeted all these females then, Tom?
That doesn't sound quite the way I want.
We'll snip this bit out.
Aren't you?
Well, Latest Deals isn't the only website of its kind on the internet. Okay. As I mentioned, there were others, and they tended to have a very male focus. So lots of technology deals, lots of video game deals, lots of DIY and whatever deals. Yeah. And so from day one, it was like, right, how are we going to position ourselves differently in the market? Great, let's go for a more female audience. So let's focus on health and beauty deals. Let's focus on other deals that are more appealing to women, to mums. But that's not to say it's exclusive to them. But that's what we tried to do.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I'm quite impressed with that. I mean, the end of the day, I mean, you've got all these people coming in, and they must be getting value. But I did do my traditional amount of research, a bit like you did on us. But I mean, effectively, the whole point of one of the things you said in your video is you're not a shop, but actually your members sort of create the value within the community itself. Can you explain a bit more about that?
Yeah, so for your listeners who are trying to imagine, what is this website? It sounds really strange. Imagine in your head, there's you go on a website and the first thing you see are just a list of products, pictures of products, just like a shop. Except when you look closely, you'll see like one thing's at Amazon, one thing's at Argos, which is a British big retailer. One thing's at a large supermarket or grocery store. And what this is doing is it's recommending the best deals at each of these places. So you're seeing, there's the new iPhone 13 and it's the best price right now at Amazon. And the user can click that deal. It takes them off to Amazon and buy it from Amazon.
Yeah.
And the way the business makes money is via affiliate marketing. So Amazon will pay us a cut for the commission made if we make a sale.
Yeah.
So what's allowed on the site has to be products that are the best prices in the market. So then everyone who comes onto the site knows it's genuinely the best or one of the best of deals.
Yeah.
And so as you navigate the site, you can filter, and it's a community site for passionate bargain hunters.
Well, I tested it out this morning, Kevin. Because my tastes probably differ from most, but I put in trousers because I don't know why, but I found that I haven't got it on the screen anymore. But basically, it was something from eBay, some corduroy trousers at 13 quid. Yeah. I was thinking, wow, that seems like a decent bargain.
Those were the Crag Hoppers navy trousers.
Oh, yeah, you're ahead of me. Actually, no, I tell a lie. It is still there. And it was Crag Hoppers Bardsey men's cords trousers. Yeah. But it says it's available from eBay. So if I say click or get deal, do I go through to eBay at that point?
You do. So you click get deal, it goes to eBay.
Yeah.
What we accept, so just to clarify, we wouldn't normally do like eBay secondhand listings from individual people. We wouldn't really accept that. Yeah. It would be from an official retailer on eBay. So lots of people don't know, but the big high street stores do have eBay outlet stores. And quite often you'll find the same products at cheaper prices on eBay. Wow. So for example, your Crag Hoppers one, I'm looking at it now, was from a shop called Start Fitness Outlet. So I don't know who Start Fitness is, but that's their outlet store. And yeah, £13 down from their RRP, which we've got to put in inverted commas, of £60.
Yeah, but amazingly, 14 people like this deal, so they're probably gone now anyway. You know, they'll be wearing them all around there. You know, I don't know who buys it. Well, it won't be. Of course, it's not women though. Of course, is it? So it's
well,
they might have bought it for their husbands or partners or whatever. But in today's society, they're probably wearing them. But nonetheless, what I am interested in is, if you like, where does this go? Because over the next few years, especially with electricity bills going up through the roof, people are going to be really short of money. So are you expecting a massive influx of interest?
Yes and no. I think we're already experiencing this. So depending when your listeners are listening to this, it could be years in the future.
Yeah, it's true, actually.
What are they
Everything's okay.
Right now, especially in the UK, it's not so bad in the US. Household bills are going up and people's disposable incomes are down.
Yes.
And the logic would say, okay, so people are looking for more bargains. It depends how bad it gets. If it gets really bad, then people just can't afford anything apart from the very basics, which we do cater to as well. So we show grocery store deals. People are very excited at the moment because Asda, one of the largest UK grocery stores, has launched a new range of essentials or basic items, and that's just so popular at the moment. But we are seeing an influx of new members. So we have a Facebook group all about cheap supermarket deals. And in the last month, that has just soared, and that now has 50,000 members. I don't know, a couple of 10,000s in the last month, which I think is just an indicator that people are struggling. And on that group, people share very budget recipes to help each other, ways to cook more for less.
Well, right at the beginning, before we started, one of the things that we were saying, and Kevin was sort of leading this, was that we were going to talk about how you actually went from that Brazilian sort of meal or a Brazilian steak to where you are now. What you obviously had to put an awful lot of effort into getting this off the ground. Sketch out the kinds of things that you had to do for us to actually make latestdeals.co.uk.
Good question. It's one of those questions where it's like thousands of things going off in my mind. I suppose Latest Deals, so there's three of us, myself, Deepak and Tom Kelsey, three co-founders. Now there's a team of 30 people, but at the beginning it was the three of us. And we all agreed to quit our jobs, start Latest Deals just ourselves and have a go at it. We had personal savings. I think our runway was, I think we could go for 6 months, we agreed, without taking any salaries or anything like that. And just give it a go.
Is that called a runway? I just thought that was sort of normal living. I don't mind. But
well, you've been on a
7-year runway.
Time, Graham. It's about time you took off.
I'm working on it. But okay, but that's not an awful long time. So you have to make a lot of things happen.
Yeah, that was kind of, we agreed, okay, we're going to make it a bit, but also it was nice in the sense of like, if it doesn't work after 6 months, clean break, no hard feelings, we tried. But after 3 months, as I mentioned, setting up the newsletter and stuff, we were already kind of making money and almost breaking even, very, very small amounts, but at least to cover the costs. And the main marketing of that from the very beginning was partnering with other UK money bloggers in the UK and just having, I was picking up the phone, cold calling, crikey, must have been hundreds, telling them who we are. Please could you talk about us? Is there anything we can do? Asking them, is there anything we can do? Creating all sorts of partnerships like, we'll link to you if you link to us. Could you promote us on your Facebook page? We'll promote you on our Facebook page. Really, back scratching, swapping favors absolutely everywhere. No money exchanged at all.
So it was essentially doing everything you could to get in front of other people's audiences.
Oh, absolutely. And I would say within a week, my calendar was just full of cool. picking up the calls to journalists. So this comes back to your earlier point about, oh, Tom, you're in the media everywhere. Well, I wasn't always. That has been a slow and steady process. Yeah. And it really was cold calling journalists, asking for coffees, asking for meetings, sitting down with them. And I would say the key point was I was never selling latest deals to them. I was always asking their advice. What do you think latest deals should be as a community? Because you're all passionate about deal hunting, just like I am. You're all passionate about saving money, just like I am. I want to build a home for all of us online. What should it be? And the conversation was listening to their ideas, noting them down. And actually, when you go on latest deals now, lots of the features are from them. So, for example, we're actually, not only are we a deal site, but there's an area on our site just for competitions. And people don't know this, but there's a huge community. They're called compers, people who enter competitions professionally. And they enter hundreds of competitions every day. Yeah. And I remember speaking to a lovely lady, Diane Cope, and she was sort of the biggest blogger in this space. And I just said to her, I don't know anything about comping, but I want to create the home for compers. Tell me what I should do. And we had this fantastic call where she said, oh, what I've always dreamt of is this. And the whole comping section of latest deals has been built based on that feedback. Speaking to journalists, oh, well, what kind of stories do you want? What is your dream story? And the feedback was always the same. It was, we love real life stories of a real person who has saved an insane amount of money doing a really stupid thing.
Right. Okay.
Which sounds silly, but that shaped our very early PR stories. So some of the things that I did at the beginning was, okay, I flew to Newcastle in a private plane for cheaper than the cost of a train.
Wow.
I bought a secondhand car and drove to Bristol cheaper than the price of a train ticket. I lived off reduced to clear yellow stickers, what you can find in the supermarkets when things get knocked down. I lived off those for a year. And that's all based on their feedback. So latest deals really grew. I know it sounds kind of cliche in a way, but the community grew from the community that existed. They were just separated out into all of these different silos.
I'm first of all, but basically, I'm so impressed by you and what you've actually done. But one thing that I have done some research on, because it's, well, not much, but basically it says, if you Google it, you are known as Britain's sexiest man. It's probably, yeah. Well, it is with Google. It never goes away, does it? So basically, was that actually true? Was it, or is it just one of the PR stories?
That was a funny PR stunt. Good. So anyone listening, if you Google Britain's sexiest man, you will see embarrassing pictures of me. And if you read the story, it tells you how I came to the top of Google. I go through it step by step, the method used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. So that is really clever, because Kevin's been trying for years.
To get still that world's sexiest man available.
Oh, right. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Or Northumberland's, maybe. I mean, he could probably do that. It'd be a cakewalk for you, Kevin.
Exactly.
Well, might just have a try at it, Graham. Now I've been given the challenge. You never know.
Or, Newcastle United's fan base sexiest man. I mean, you're going to be up about six others, wouldn't you? There'll be nobody else against you. But anyway, no, seriously, looking at latest deals then, what's your future? I mean, apart from, taking over more and more people's lives in terms of their interest in saving money.
You know what? Every day I feel is still day one at latest deals. So even though we've been going 6 years, I still feel there's so far to go. So many deals to be found.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the online area of commerce is changing so much. I'm excited to see where Google Shopping goes. I don't know if you've ever checked that out, but Google's increasingly competing with Amazon. And I still feel there's a lot, whilst latest deals is this community where it's all about people posting deals and manually finding them. There's a lot of area for using automation to show price history graphs, price comparisons, looking at, especially today, energy price comparisons, credit cards, SIM deals, broadband deals to get you the best version. There's a lot of room to grow. However, it's very easy, I've realized over the years, to get distracted from the core of the business, which is supporting and selling to your core community. It's very easy to get excited and tack on all these new tools and gizmos. But really, when you look at it, the money comes from your core members.
Yeah. So, Tom, going back to basics.
Yeah.
You're putting on your site best deals.
Yeah.
Question one, how do you know when somebody puts something up on your site as a best deal that it is a best deal?
So every deal is reviewed. So we get about 1,000 posts a day put up by our community. And then there's a process where the deal is then checked. So we'll type it into Google Shopping, into various price comparison tools, and just see, is this a good deal? There sometimes is this case, it's quite an interesting one, where people are willing to pay a premium if it's sold from a brand that they like. So it doesn't always have to be the cheapest. So for example, I've done experiments where I've put the same product up, one from eBay, reputable seller, it's £10 cheaper than the exact same product at Amazon. And eBay's got free delivery, Amazon, most people have Prime delivery. So it's essentially the same. And so many people are still more willing to buy it from Amazon just because it's Amazon, even though it's more expensive. So there is a process to test all the posts and make sure it's genuine, but we do also rely on our community for moderation. So people get points and rewards for reporting stuff. So if they're like, actually, this is a really bad deal, there's secretly £20 of postage to pay. It gets flagged, and then our team take it down.
Yeah. Okay. Clever. So you're using affiliate marketing effectively to monetize everything. So folk are going off and finding deals all over the place. Now, you're only making money on the ones that you've got an affiliate relationship with, correct?
Correct.
So there must be a fair amount of stuff on the site that you're not getting a cut of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We don't mind. It's our problem, not the members' problem. All we care about is that the best deal is on the site, because ultimately that keeps people coming back. And hopefully one day they might purchase a deal that is affiliated. Is
it sort of, as a good point from Kevin, but is it likely to be sort of more than half are non-affiliate relationships, or much lower than that?
It will. There's lots of areas of our site which, for example, competitions. Well, you can't make any money from that anyway. We also offer. There's an area on our site called freebies.
Right.
So just about the deal section specifically, probably more than half of the retailers are affiliated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the sort of set of retailers that you've got here are, like you said, Asda, Argos, Currys, Debenhams, John Lewis. To anybody listening abroad, then some of these might not be known to you, but Morrison's, TK Maxx, Tesco, of course, quite well known.
You've just gone through most of the British High Street there. The bit that's left, and Matalan and so forth. So, but you've got, and of course, most of these people have got online stores as well. So, you're actually almost like you're getting paid affiliate commission when these have got their own online sites as well. So does it make it difficult to eke out these, lowest price deals? You'd have expected them to present their lowest deals themselves, or maybe not.
Sorry, I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, in a sense, what you're saying is that these are if you had to, the latest deals, possibly some of the best deals. But these guys have got their own online stores. Wouldn't they have been presenting those anyway as their own deals?
Yes. So in a sense, sometimes we do compete with the very retailers that we are trying to promote.
Yeah.
And that's always a fun challenge.
Yeah.
But it's not a problem. All the deals on latest deals, not all of them, most of the latest deals are online from the online stores. So if they've got good deals, that's great for us, because we just want to show the best deals. So
yeah,
the better deals,
you're showing the same deal on your site.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, and we're sending people to that deal.
So, latest deals then is the latest sort of what's it called, incantation of this thing, because it was known as, you know, different things as it grew.
Yeah.
Is the future really all about the app rather than online, a website, or are you just going to dual or triple channel until such time as it becomes obvious that you got to go all app, or have you got a direction of travel in terms of the way in which you're going to get your opportunity to the market?
What a fantastic question. One of the challenges we've always faced over the years is diversifying our traffic sources.
Right.
When we started, Latest Deals did fantastically well on Google. To this day, we still don't really know why. It was kind of like day one, Google just loved us. And it was like, wow, this is great. Well, that didn't last very long. Then, you know, we had the email newsletter, which has been this lovely, steady trickle of traffic that's just steadily grown over the years. Then we entered Facebook. That had its mountainous peak and then slow decline. And it's always been this battle of like, crikey, we can't rely on any one source. And you're right, a couple of years ago, we launched the Latest Deals app, which is basically the same functionality as the Latest Deals website in app form. And that's been really good for having a consistent source of traffic from our direct members. And it's definitely something that we're focusing on a lot, and kind of is our target of our funnel. So we get members from all sorts of places, typically a Google search, you know, cheap microwave. They land on our microwave page, and then we'll try there to nudge people into our app and make them a fully fledged member. And typically we do find people on the app come back to it more often.
Yeah. So the app's the way to go then, presumably, at least, well, the way to favor.
It's definitely one of the core areas. Yeah. We don't like to rely on just the app, because you never know what's going to happen.
No, absolutely. So that was sort of behind my question, because it's not, you can't really put all your eggs, particularly when you're dealing with, well, the great British public for a start. And when I say that, are you actually dealing with expats, people living in France? Because isn't there's a story out that says that you might be living abroad yourself before long.
Well,
just to save a bit of money. That'll be in Greece, no doubt, because you won't pay any taxes there, will you? So I mean, I
don't think that would change income tax at all. But basically, I researched my energy provider, which is Octopus, predicts how much my energy bills will be based on what's happening in the market. And it said in December, I'm going to pay £650. In January, another £650 just for that month. And that's up from my usual direct debit of 180. So I did a bit of research, like, isn't it actually cheaper just to shut my house, turn everything off, and go and rent an apartment somewhere? And yes, Greece, France, Spain, I found apartments where it was cheaper than that, including energy, because that's really important. So message the hosts to say, our energy bill is included. And they all said yes. So potentially, you know, depending on what happens, yeah, why not? Why sit here in the cold with my heating turned off?
Wow. No, that's
I like your thinking. I like your thinking there. Yeah.
You can go abroad for a month and actually save money.
Particularly in the winter months, where you're I mean, you're the sort of new old, aren't you? At the end of the day, that's what they've done for years. They'll clear off to Spain for the for the winter, and avoid the extra cost of heating their homes. But having said that, I mean, this seems like it might be a bit of a trend. I mean, people will listen to you, Tom, and there might be a busload of you going.
There might be. There might be, but you know what? I hope not. I hope it sorts itself out. I hope people get the help that they need, because it's a dire situation, and
it is. Mm-hmm.
The answer should not be having to leave the country.
No, I know. I do, honestly, I completely, and I too have Octopus, and I'm driving an electric car now, so I'm spending more money that way. But because I'm not filling my old car with fuel, then basically I reckon I'm ahead anyway. But for how long, I don't know. Interesting.
Now, Tom, you going back to the publicity point that we talked about earlier, you approached us to be a guest on Next 100 Days podcast.
Yep.
What's your strategy going forward around using media such as podcasts?
That's a really good question. Actually, this is one of the first podcasts I've ever done.
Right.
No.
It is, yes.
You've been on TV before you got onto our show. I mean, it makes us feel really proud as well, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Everyone kept saying to me, hey, Tom, you should do podcasts. So I just did a quick Google search of, UK good business podcasts. You guys came up. I went on your website. I watched all your little videos of all the other podcasts you've done.
Yeah.
I went onto your YouTube this morning and then realized I was 50 episodes behind. So I'm going to binge it. And I just thought it was really good. So I asked my colleague Tamira's to reach out, and here we are. So the strategy, there's no long-term strategy, to be honest. I just wanted to see what it's like. You guys seem really nice. Yeah. And, I do things like at Brunel University, we give like a company day where students come in and we tell them all about affiliate marketing. And Latest Deals is at this nice stage now where I do feel like, you know what, I should probably start giving back a bit, telling people how to set up their businesses. And yeah, the timing just felt right.
Did you go to university yourself? I mean,
I did.
Was that your route? So, was it a business degree or did you do something else?
No, I did something else. It's not even worth talking about.
No, okay, but you went from
one of your what's his name? One of your podcasts that I listened to, he was saying, should we actually be doing about apprenticeships rather than sending kids to university? And I was. It depends on the degree. Obviously, for accountancy, you might not want to see that. But I agreed with a lot of what he said. I've got someone who works part-time at the moment for me, and she's doing a degree at Newcastle University. And she, because of COVID, half her degree has been online. So she hasn't even stepped foot into the university. And it's just been very boring videos and documents. She's been very depressed, paying through the roof. And, I'm like, God, you're actually really good at your job. I said this to her, do you want to quit your university and I'll pay you a full-time salary just like anyone else, and you just start from there? It's probably, I don't know, time will tell. It's probably wise that she said, no, I'm going to finish my degree.
It's a real conundrum, don't you think? Because I mean, in the States, the hapless leader of that country is just about to repay people their some of their money that they spent on their degrees. And in my particular case with my children, I scrimped and saved, paid it off, so they were debt free when they came out. Now, were it to happen in this country, I would be just like a number of Americans are now, really hacked off that the government are paying, and because they won't pay me back, or the others who've done the right thing in America and worked hard, scrimped hard, do 2 jobs and paid it off. But so I do think there's a lot of issues there, stopping halfway through and so forth. So, bless the girl for going forward. And you kind of have a huge amount of respect, but they are racking up a huge amount of debt. And it means that by the time she gets to, one of the things that in my mind was get them into, get rid of the debt and allow them to start their lives. Because I think, the impact of debt means that you're almost delaying starting your family and stuff like that. So there was a self-interest. I wanted your grandchildren.
The UK student loan system has changed now. So now it's essentially an extra 9% on your income tax above a certain amount. And I feel there's not enough education when you're choosing to go to university, the implications of that, because it's kind of just like, oh yeah, that's later me, that's future me. I'll be super rich. That will be fine. Well, if you are super rich, great, but you're probably also going to think, crap, no, I don't want to pay an extra 9%.
No, absolutely.
And yeah, it's just probably not what we want to talk about on this podcast.
No, I know, but it is about saving money and all the rest of that, and education. But I do think that I like the fact that you're giving back, because I think Kevin and I are doing something similar with this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I wanted just to touch upon the affiliate side, which is something I talk about to lots of business students, because it's not that well known. And just for your listeners who are like, what is this stuff? So I just want to say, like, okay, Amazon pays us a cut. So if we send someone to Amazon, they spend £100, they'll give us a percentage, let's say 5%. So we make £5 commission.
Yeah.
And it can sound kind of daunting to people starting businesses. Oh, how do you get a partnership with Amazon? How do you get a partnership with Boots? How do you get a partnership with Tesco? It sounds very daunting. And I want to kind of show how it's actually very easy. And in the affiliate marketing space, there are these things called affiliate networks. They are essentially middlemen or agencies between you as a website and these brands. One is called Affiliate Window, AWIN. There's something called Skim Links, Commission Junction, Trade Doubler. Maybe you can put these links in your show notes. And you can just sign up as a publisher. All you need is a website, a couple of blog posts. It doesn't need to be anything special. And you just need to have a bit of content that is relevant and targeted towards a potential brand. So let's say you want to work at Argos. Just make a blog post and just have the blog post that says, here are the top 10 deals at Argos, or here are the 5 best fridge freezers at Argos. And you send that off to the person at the affiliate network and say, hey, I would love to work with Argos. Here's an example piece. And they have so many of these things. They're just like click, 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 yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And usually what they do is by default, they say yes, and they wait until you've earned a set amount of commission before reviewing your site properly. So they'll say, oh, we don't really care if you're small. Okay, we're happy to take the risk. And then once you've hit £1,000, then we'll just do a double check, because now you're becoming quite big and we don't want to be paying someone doing naughty things.
Got you.
So I just want to say to people, like, don't be put off. It's not that hard. And just research the affiliate networks and just start signing up.
So the bit of work that somebody would need to do is that sort of comparison bit. So you turn up at Argos, and Argos is a bit awkward, because basically you'd be looking at a book, wouldn't you? It's not like they've got them on display, but how would you know which of their I suppose you'd have to go to somebody else's store to look at the physical thing to get an idea of how it is compared to another one. I'm thinking about the example of fridge freezers and so forth.
Yes, you do have to look around. Yeah. That's the job, if that's what you want to do.
Got you. And this is a way for people to make money.
It is. And it's actually, I believe, other than page view advertising, the main method that the whole internet makes money. And I don't think it's sufficiently clear that's how everyone makes money. But you go to any blog that is recommending their top podcast gear, it's all affiliate links. It's all they're making commission from every single recommendation they make. And it's the same thing for this influencer marketing, where you see someone on Instagram or YouTube recommending or reviewing a product. They've been sent that for free. They've been paid to review that. And the link in the description is also making them money. I have a bit of a bugbear how unclear people make that when they are doing that. Latest Deals from day one has been extremely clear. There are notices everywhere. You buy something, we might make money.
Yep. No, and that's honest, and that's a credit to you. I mean, along the masthead of the site that you've got freebies, which you've talked about, competitions, vouchers, guides. Let's stop at guides. The guides, what's that all about? So basically, it's almost like the consumer guide to broadband or something along those lines?
Yeah, absolutely. So in fact, we update this monthly. So if you are looking for new broadband, there should be a guide somewhere that says
I
best
think
broadband.
Kevin needs that, doesn't he? Because we've found that his
We
internet
have found
well.
it's frozen.
Yes, we found that there's a few problems here this morning, which seem to have gone away, fortunately.
No, that's true, Kevin. It is true, but you are a bit fuzzy. It's not quite as clear as we normally see you.
Saving money on energy just by using a single picture instead of.
I know. But so okay, so these guides are helpful sort of background. I'm looking at a market. I want broadcast. How do I get reasonable advice? How can I tell that it's reasonable advice from you rather than anyone else?
You can believe what I'm about to tell you, which is that when we set to create these guides, we had a very detailed process of reviewing all the best content in the UK for that topic. So let's say best broadband. So we went to every single basically top Google result of who's recommending the best broadband. Okay. We made a huge Excel spreadsheet of all the things they talked about in all these different areas. And then we put them all together into one. And then we looked at how can we do it ourselves even better. So every single guide has been done that, where it's like, our guide is as good as the top 10 put all together and better. Plus, what we do in ours, if you have a look at the broadband one, is we actually do up-to-date, manually done price comparisons month by month. Yeah. So August might have been done earlier this month as we're recording this, but September is coming around the corner. And you'll see a comparison table there of all the best broadband deals broken up by different criteria. And that's manually researched, manually logged. And checked.
That's interesting. The idea of actually doing these things, it's straight SEO, isn't it? If you've got the biggest, better, most up to date, then Google are going to rank you, and this will probably rank extraordinarily high when somebody's just searching broadband deals.
You would think so. However, I'll put my hands up. It does not rank well on Google.
Oh, right. I wonder why.
We did have that in mind.
Yeah.
And no, it doesn't rank very well on Google. And it's just one of those things where it's like, Google confuses me.
Is it
Google is a mysterious beast.
As in, it should rank well with them, but they don't want you to rank well with them.
I don't know. Google loves us for some things. You know, you type in, I don't know, cheap pair of hair scissors will be top. You type in something where we've written 5,000 words with YouTube videos and God knows what.
Yeah,
nowhere to be seen. So Google is a mysterious beast, but ultimately this content we reuse over and over again for our existing members. We send it to them and it's good for them. It doesn't actually make us any money. I don't think many of those links are affiliated. We include deals. We include all the market's deals, not just the ones that are affiliated. That makes us very different than the other sites because they'll only include deals that they have partnerships with.
Yeah.
No, I was just about to say that you not only you have been giving back to others and helping them with their business. You spent a little bit of time here showing us just how straightforward it is to actually have a side gig using affiliate marketing with these affiliate conduits to businesses. Is there anything else that you're doing to help others? Because clearly you're not just making it, you're doing really well. Is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you're doing as Tom Church or whether it's Ladies Deals for others to get their businesses off the ground?
Maybe not. My whole focus at the moment is Latest Deals.
Yeah.
There are other things we do which perhaps I think new businesses don't think about so much, where usually new businesses are just, how can I make money? Mm-hmm. And often how you make money is a result of answering the question, how can I help others?
Yeah.
And when we created our community website, one thing that we did from the very beginning, when we tried to differentiate ourselves from other less good community websites, is we asked ourselves, what can we do to give back? Because if you partake in these other forums, you don't get anything. They take, and so when you use our website, you can earn points that add up to Amazon rewards. Yeah. So every time all these people who are sharing these deals, there is a kickback. They do get something out of it. If you help people in the comments and your comment gets upvoted as particularly helpful, you get bonus points. Something I've started to do now, which touches upon perhaps your direct mail experience, is sending freebies and free samples to people just for free. There's no reason other than, hey guys, who wants a free thing? So I've actually got a big box of Galaxy instant hot chocolates here. And later today, I'll be giving away 300. So I'll be sending 300 packets to our members. And I think this week I'll send 1,000 out.
Wow.
And so, and all of that's just with the general, and that is me sitting there, packing there.
No, I've been there, done that a few times. But well, that's really good. And actually, I have to say, when you touch on direct mail, I mean, Google themselves, it's one of their main channels of actually, getting clients, business clients, is through direct mail, which is odd.
I actually had a question for you. Do you mind if I pop in here about it? Because something I hear a lot from new businesses, online businesses who are selling stuff, is their problem of the cost of delivery. Yes. So me, just to send this little free sample cost me 68p Royal Mail. That's the lowest second-class stamp that I can get. So one thing I've wondered is, how can new businesses reach out to other businesses to insert their direct mail into their envelopes? What is the process they can do?
That's kind of a piggybacking thing, and it's a bit like, I would say it's a bit like what you did. So, for instance, if you have something relating to fridge freezers or whatever, and there's a manufacturer who's doing some direct mail campaigns to people, let's just say, but you have something that's complementary or it's going to help with the sale of their product, then I would just do what you did, and I would ring people with a proposition with a view to actually piggybacking, and then you would pay the cost of printing that, maybe it's a leaflet or whatever, that would actually go into their envelopes. If they have an envelope, if it's an envelope they're sending, then they have up to about 100 grams. So there's a huge amount of scope with a lot of people who are mailing to actually put something in, piggybacking, as in putting a leaflet within their own package, especially if it's about insurance. And I suppose that could work with a large fridge freezer, but basically it's more kind of complementary thing, much better chance of you to being able to get into that envelope, and particularly if you're not only prepared to pay for the what's the right word, for the printing of your own leaflet, but defray some of the cost, if not all of the cost of them mailing, then that would go down extremely well. I would start with some of the cost, because sometimes it can be quite a lot of money. But at the end of the day, but the thing that you're getting with that is a great list. You're marketing to somebody else's audience. And where did we hear that? At the beginning of this podcast. Yeah. And that's exactly how you created Latest Deals. So actually, direct mail is just another, you could argue the affiliate marketers just, aped the clothing of direct mailers from the past for, literally 100 years. But at the end of the day, if you're actually piggybacking on somebody else, you're not only piggybacking in terms of their envelope to the market they're going after. That's far more important, because you're going to get to the relevant people who are probably buyers. And so from that point of view, that's how I would go at it. Fridge freezer is probably a bad example, but there is a logic in actually doing that. And I think most of them would think, oh yeah, okay, I'll buy that, and they will do a test, and they might do a split test. And that's one of the things I would be looking at. So if they're doing 5,000, 2,500 would go with the whatever, and the other 2,500 wouldn't. And it'd be interesting to see the attribution of what actually happened to that mailing when it was sent out. So I think it's very similar to the way in which you started life, and anybody's interested in doing that, then pick out the people who are complementary, who have the audience that you want, and basically put the proposition to them, and maybe show them the actual leaflet that they're in. You don't have to print off many, do you? But you print off a few that you think would be helpful and complementary.
Yeah, thank you.
So Tom, you are one of those. I mean, you're still young. You've got an awful long way to go. 10 years time, have you got an idea of? You probably want to be living in Greece, don't you? Because it'll be cheap down there.
The goal has always been the same: be the best, be the biggest deal community that we can in the UK.
In the UK, do you want to go further than that? Presumably geographically.
If we do, I don't want to be the one that is necessarily the face / leading the charge of it. I'm happy to support other communities. I'm happy to be a part of it, but it's not really my passion, because ultimately this came out of a hobby. I just love deal hunting. And, the thing with business is it does suck some of the joy out of your passion. When you turn your passion into a business, it does suck some of the joy out of it. Yeah. Unless your joy and passion happens to be accounting, then Kevin's quite lucky there. I'm in the process.
My joy and passion is definitely not accounting.
I do know that.
Yeah, no, I've got to say, Kevin,
sorry, I'm in the process of changing my accounting from being on a cash basis to an accrual basis, and it's causing me lots of headaches.
You're talking Greek now to me.
But the Ministry of Defence came to us with that exact question.
The lovely thing about you is that not only are you the sexiest man in Britain and all the rest of that, but you've also founded a community. I've often had a problem with that word because it seems to me that there's barriers around it, and I don't know if it's just, I have a slight problem with that word. I'm a trustee of a charity, and I don't like to see it as a community centre, because it isn't. It's a venue. This town hall is a venue for the residents and the businesses. I don't know if there is a proper word for that. Anyway, by and by. But from your point of view, you're ticking a lot of boxes. You don't want the life to be or the energy to be sucked out of your dreams. Are you going to be writing a book of the show?
There's no plans to write any book.
Oh no, that's a shame, because you've got so much knowledge. I think it'd be a great book writer. What do you think, Kevin? Somebody's have to do it for you.
Yeah, and it's another way of getting out in front of other people's audiences, and
Well, that's very kind. I'll.
The other thing is,
ego boost this morning.
Yeah, no. Well, no. It is actually a really good way of actually dragging people towards you, the free book, etc. But I look, whether you do that or not is another issue. Tom, this morning on the next 100 days, you've been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming and joining us today.
Thank you very much, and good luck to Leeds United this weekend and Newcastle United as well, I think.
This man's done his research, hasn't he?
He has done his research, and do you have a football team yourself then, Tom?
You know what? I don't really, but when I'm in the barbers and I have to talk football, I will say QPR, which is...
it's a genuine team.
Graham, I thought that was a really, really good story from Tom. Starting from just the three of them in a steak restaurant, how do we try and put this business together? And for me, there's a very big lesson there. And one that has been increasingly a theme that I've been looking at over the last few weeks is getting in front of other people's audiences. Now, part of that, a couple of weeks ago, we put a podcast out, and we were talking to a person who puts guests onto other people's podcasts. And we talked a lot about the importance of getting in front of other people's audiences.
Yeah.
And I'm also looking at growing CFO at the moment, how we take that further. And it strikes me that you put out emails every week, you put LinkedIn posts out every week, you do all of that stuff, but all you do is actually talk to the same audience over and over again. How do you get in front of a different audience very quickly? And one way is your direct marketing route, but another way is, how do I get blog posts, podcast appearances, TV appearances, journalists, whatever. Huge lesson coming out of shows that this show and other shows we've done recently.
What I found funny was Tom's ability to create himself as Britain's sexiest man simply through SEO. I mean, what a bright lad. And to be honest with you, I'm very, very impressed with him and the things that latestdeals.co.uk is actually doing. I mean, if it helps people save a few quid, but they're doing it in a nice way. And the thing we didn't really bring out is that, the guides that he was talking about don't really rank and so forth, but they're there. They're there for the people in their group, in their community, to actually benefit. And actually, they don't necessarily make any money, but the beauty of that is it's really helpful. And there can't be any surprise to their competitors that because they're being helpful to their community is growing.
Yeah. And Graham, that comes back to one thing: know, like, and trust.
Very much.
Put great guides out like that.
Yeah.
And you might not make money from the guides themselves. It's the other things. You're creating stickiness around your community. You're getting loyalty from people, which brings people back.
Yeah.
And in the long term, you make money.
I mean, personally, I think the only piece of advice I would offer Tom in terms of the guides is I would mail them to people to create more people coming into the community. But that's another story, because I think if you can actually identify particular audiences where that's relevant, then get it to them in some way, whether that's email or whether that's direct mail or whatever. But I would be getting those, actively promoting those, and that might just have a bounce in terms of SEO. However, the beauty of latestdeals.co.uk is you can find bargains everywhere. And if you're that kind of person who is looking for a way of saving money in the next few months or even years, then this might be one of those staples that you have. And you refer to on a regular basis. Tom was an absolutely great guest today, Kevin, and it's been a real privilege having him on. And today, I've been Graham Arrowsmith.
I've been the bargain, Kevin Appleby. Goodbye.
Goodbye.